Good morning, Christopher.
Hi, Tina.
How are you today?
I'm good. As you can see, I'm at the beach, so it's nice.
That's awesome. We all wish we were there, right?
Yes, exactly.
Today we want to talk about Maggie's Gurls Foundation, which is a new nonprofit that you have founded and I'm on the board of. And it is to help its resources and education for suicide prevention for the LGBTQ plus community, which you are a part of, right?
Yes, that is correct.
And you have a very personal story about suicide and why this foundation is super important to you, don't you?
Yeah, it's really comes from my heart when I talk about it. Yeah, absolutely.
So I would like to hear a little bit about your experiences with suicide. Are you open to talking to us about that today?
Yeah, I really am. That is very close to my heart as well. So I am a two-time survivor of suicide attempts. My first attempt was May 10th, 1987. I was 17 years old. I was going from my junior year in high school to my senior year in high school. And I had several bouts of just life being crappy. And one was I had just had a spinal tap, which they botched, and I had just been hit. 6 months after that, I had just been hit by a drunk driver.
Oh, no.
I was in a head-on collision. So needless to say, I had had quite a bit of trauma in my life. And I decided to, 2 weeks before summer started, I decided to go up into the mountains and come barreling down out of the mountains and drive off a cliff. And I took a hairpin turn at 40 miles an hour where it said I should have taken it at 15. And I let go of the wheel and I ended up in a ditch about 30 or 40 feet up from the turn. But I was unharmed and my car was still running. And yeah, it was probably one of the most miraculous things I had ever been involved with, because I had let go of the steering wheel coming out of that turn and I was ready to be done. And here I am in a ditch with the car running and no scrapes, no bumps, no broken windows, no nothing. And as soon as that had happened, I pulled into a person's parking, garage area and thought about what would happen. And then I went home and I told my mother. And then I was put into the hospital for 110 days, and where I began to learn about who I was and why I really wanted to die by suicide, where I really wanted to just end it all. And I was tired of the mental pain of all the stuff that had gone on and from family and all of that dynamic and my personal life and coming out as being gay. And I knew I was gay, and I didn't want to have to deal with that because at that particular point, I was in the Mormon church, or a faith of very considerable, where they just didn't, you had no value in this organization. And I just didn't feel that nobody loved me, and I was ready to go. And that's what I did. And so it took a long time. And when I got back out in my senior year, was much better because I'd gotten on some medication and seen, a psychologist every day for 110 days. So we're going to fast forward a little bit. Yeah.
So you hadn't come out yet then at that point, is that right?
No, my friends in high school knew I was gay, but then they didn't say anything.
Mm.
I'm not sure why they didn't say anything, but everybody knew that I was, and they weren't surprised at all.
Mm-hmm.
So the dynamics was very interesting.
So there's kind of two parts to that story. There's the part of you, the fear of you coming out, and then, the whole suicide. So oftentimes do those two things often go hand in hand with people in the gay community?
Yeah, because we want to be accepted. We want to be loved by our families, and our families they're key, they're pivotal. And when your family turns against you, what do you have? Like, honestly, I didn't have anything. And including my religious beliefs, even the place where I went to pray and be involved with God and this higher being. I was being told that even this higher being, God, didn't love me and didn't care for me, and I didn't have any value with that.
Wow, that's frustrating. That's discouraging. And I'm super grateful that you're here today in the world. And it is that story that has compelled you to found the Maggie's Gurls Foundation. Is that right?
Yes, it totally. Fast forwarding 30 years, in 2018, I did make a second attempt of suicide. And this time I was going to run my car into a tree at high speeds and finish it that way. But what I learned was that that's not where I needed to be. Like, there was something. And it was interesting because it's a very dark place when you are in that moment of wanting to end your life. And so I had to pull off the road and stop and cry and scream and yell and swear and cuss. And then I had to take another minute and realize that I was in danger and that I needed help immediately. And 2 or 3 weeks prior to this, my instructor at University of Phoenix also recognized the situation and had called and talked to the police, and I had 4 sheriffs show up to my door. And so after that, I realized that there was purpose for me. And I didn't realize that I was going to create anything. I just was stuck in all of this muck and black. And I went to uni here in Salt Lake City, and I spent 11 days in there working on getting myself back. And it was from this time that I realized that it was the first time in my life that I realized I loved who I was. And it was the first time in my life that I could accept it, and that I knew I had value, and I knew without a doubt that I needed to help other people.
Well, I'm sure there are people reading this or listening to this or watching this video today who are grateful for your story and grateful for the fact that you have offered resources and education to people so that they can learn how to love themselves and be fully who they are without apology. So because of your story, you're sharing your story, others find courage. So thank you.
Yeah, You're very welcome. And just find the courage, find out wherever it is inside of you, and then just go and be the very best person that you possibly can be, and know that without a doubt that there's always a place at Maggie's table for you. Always.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Tina.
So if you're watching this video, you can find Maggie's Gurls Foundation online. The website is maggiesgurls.org, and girl is spelled with a U because it's Maggie's Girls. And you can find us on Facebook for Maggie's Gurls Foundation and follow us there. You can find resources on the website. And as always, if you need support, you can call the Suicide National Hotline, or you can call and reach out to Maggie's Gurls Foundation, either via the phone or email, and someone on the board will connect you with resources or offer you support. Know that you are not alone.